This is the Fox 54 Weekend Review, a show all about getting you up to speed on the past 7 days and all local headlines. I'm Kenesha Dees. Here's a sneak peek at what lies ahead in the next half hour. Residents in one Harvest neighborhood are gassed up about nixing a planned fuel station at what they say is an already dangerous intersection. Huntsville is ready to play a sweet song, and it's with a month-long music appreciation event, plus the debut of a major concert festival. We'll show you how the city is getting tuned up for September. And the Athens Buc-ee's turned into urban country. Keith Urban Country, that is. The singing sensation announced a surprise concert at the Travel Center. All of this coming your way just ahead. Our top story this week concerns a big move for the Space Launch System, or the SLS, and we use that term quite literally. Let's take a look.
A key piece of spaceflight hardware for the agency's Space Launch System rocket is on its way to Florida. The Launch Vehicle Stage Adapter, also known as the LVSA, is heading from Huntsville to Florida to get the Artemis II mission to the moon. Our Jasmine Bird visited the Marshall Space Flight Center and gives us an inside look.
Huntsville plays a big role in the next mission around the moon, and it all starts with this barge right here.
We're here for the Artemis II launch vehicle stage adapter. It's being loaded onto the barge.
That barge is the Pegasus, and what it's carrying is this giant adapter.
It's 27.5 feet tall. It's also at the base diameter is 27.5 feet wide.
The barge will ship the adapter to NASA's McCoy Assembly Facility in New Orleans first. That's where crews will pick up additional SLS hardware for future Artemis missions before traveling to NASA Kennedy in Florida. After it arrives to Florida, the adapter will join the recently delivered core stage, and that's where teams with NASA's Exploration Ground Systems will prepare the adapter for stacking and launch.
It's really a good thing for Artemis II to get ready down there to KSC to be stacked and hopefully one day real soon launch, which would be great.
The way we will stack the SLS and the Artemis mission with the Orion spacecraft is we'll get the mobile launcher back into the VAB, the Vehicle Assembly Building, and then we'll start stacking the booster segments to have 2 full boosters, and then we'll stack the core stage in between those. That's where the liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen are stored. And then on top of that, we'll stack this LVSA that we're rolling in today.
And the one thing some are most looking forward to is sending astronauts to the moon.
We've not sent astronauts around the moon in some 50 years almost.
And that's what Artemis II is here for. Ramsey says safety of the astronauts is the #1 priority, followed by the mission objectives.
The most important thing is to keep the crew safe and get them back to Earth safely.
The rocket is part of NASA's deep space exploration plans, along with the Orion spacecraft, supporting ground systems, advanced spacesuits, and rovers, gateway in orbit around the moon, and commercial human landing systems. In Huntsville, Jasmine Bird, Fox 54 News.
Through the Artemis campaign, NASA will land the first woman, first person of color, and its first international partner astronaut on the moon. NASA's SLS is the only rocket that can send Orion, astronauts, and supplies to the moon on a single launch.
Well, an appeal hearing was held earlier today for Lieutenant Kevin Jackson, a Decatur firefighter. He was demoted by Mayor Tab Bowling, and his superiors say it was the right call. Here's what we know. The HR director for the city of Decatur says a complaint came in on February 28th alleging Lieutenant Jackson made an unprofessional statement while on the scene of a cardiac arrest incident on November 25th. Brandon Strickland, battalion chief at the fire station, says he agrees with the decision to demote the firefighter. Now that Lieutenant Jackson is not in charge, he's received comments from staff like, quote, "The environment is a breath of fresh air," end quote. Decatur Fire Chief Tracy Thornton says he hates this situation, but also believes this moment is very needed. We hear from him and Morgan County NAACP leader Rodney Gordon, who says he believes the opposite.
I'm sad that we're here. I hate that we have to be in a position like this. It's hard on the department. It's hard on the employee. Can't imagine what the employees have to go through, and it's a tough situation all around. I would consider us, friends. Kevin is a good person. Like I said, I hate that we're at a point of having to deal with some of the issues that's going on. With any department going forward on anything that happens, whether it's good or bad, you want to learn from those and make better decisions going forward. You know, you want to always constantly be improving.
Every time there's an issue in our city that's involving the mayor, it's a racial issue. That's a sign. That's a bad sign. See, until we get rid of these bad signs, our city's not going to grow.
Session has wrapped up for the week and is expected to reconvene on Wednesday, where a man stands trial for killing 7 people. Frederick Rogers is one of 2 people charged for the Capitol murders back in June of 2020. You see him there on the left of your screen. The other is Jonathan Legg. He's been linked to a group known as the 7 Deadly Sins. Just hours into the trial, one thing was clear. Even the defense team is conceding that their client killed those 7 people 4 years ago. It appears that the focus in the courtroom won't be on the question of guilt or innocence, but on whether Rogers ultimately faces the death penalty. We did hear from a witness today who says she heard a concerning amount of gunshots on Toluca Road in Morgan County, and she called 911. Prosecutors said 2 deputies were sent to the scene that night, and a field training officer arrived there first. That officer said they found 3 bodies on the ground in the garage. 1 was on fire. He called for backup. The 2 officers now at the scene went inside the home and found 4 more people down and a fire burning in the house. That brought the number of victims to 7. The state says each victim was shot several times. The investigation eventually led police about 2 weeks later to John Legg and Frederick Rogers. During opening statements, defense attorney Carl Cole said Frederick Rogers is guilty of murder and will die in prison. The jury will make the call whether Rogers dies in prison of natural causes or in the execution chamber. The witness who called 911 the night of this incident says her house was approximately an acre away from the home where she heard the gunshots. She also says this wasn't her first time hearing gunshots at the home. Former Morgan County Sheriff officers who were called the night of the incident says they had also been called to the home before. The Madison County Sheriff's Office was also contacted to assist in the incident due to such a large scene. During testimony, a Madison County Sheriff's investigator said he assessed the scene and more than 1,000 photos were taken. Those pictures showed evidence like a gas can, shell casings, victim injuries, burns, and a bag of paraphernalia in the home. Adjusting to college life can be hard. New responsibilities can create new challenges for young adults. And at Oakwood University, a pair of students wanted to act on concerns for student well-being, leading them to design the school's first dedicated mental health resource space. This weekend was the grand opening, and our Simon Williams has the story.
Newly nestled in Oakwood's Office of Spiritual Life and Mission is the Story Room, a sensory regulating space with a relaxing sound machine, mood lighting, and decor, but it gets its name from the book of testimonies of overcoming mental health challenges by Oakwood students and alumni.
We put all of those stories into a book so that students can come inside this room and be able to read these stories and realize, okay, if somebody overcame their struggles, they were here on campus like me, then I can overcome as well.
The Story Room is Oakwood's first ever space on campus dedicated to mental health resources. It's the passion project of Matthew Dormus and Melody Carter. The two are this year's Mr. and Mrs. Oakwood. They worked with Campus Health Services and the Office of Religious Life to plan it and earned an unlimited budget from an anonymous donor from the local Adventist community. This project is very personal to Dormus and Carter, who are motivated to help their classmates after overcoming mental health challenges of their own.
The emotions are deep, they are hard to grapple with, but because we have worked with our emotions and because we have gotten past it to a place where we know we can overcome, we feel the passion and the drive to help somebody else overcome.
Also in the room are informational materials for mental health resources and contact numbers for on-campus counselors and crisis lines. This project has already resonated with other Oakwoodites.
Even if you don't want to read the stories, it's a really great room to just sit and reflect on what you're going through and realize that you're not the only one going through something.
And we want our students to know that it's okay to not be okay, but there's resources for them.
If you or someone you know is dealing with a mental health crisis, it's okay to ask for help. Call or text the National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline at 988. In Huntsville, Simon Williams, Fox 54 News.
Crews with the Harvest Monrovia Water Authority out working this weekend. It's to help get water levels up. We learned today the Water Authority is also buying water from other companies to keep water levels from getting too low. They've been buying extra water from the Madison utilities for most of the summer. This week, they also installed 2 portable booster pumps to purchase more water from Huntsville utilities. The authority is sharing in part, quote, "The hope is that this additional connection would allow us to start filling the tanks and not just maintaining the current level." The authority is also asking the more than 50,000 people it serves to cut back on how much water they are using. A level 2 conservation plan is in place. This means customers are asked to reduce the amount of water they're using outdoors. So even-number homes should only water their lawns on Mondays and Wednesdays. Odd-number homes should only water their lawns on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and nobody should be watering their lawns on Fridays, Saturdays, or Sundays.
The final night of the DNC ending on a historic note. Vice President Kamala Harris accepting the Democratic presidential nomination. Day 4 ended with speeches from key figures like Shamari Figurs, who's in the running for Alabama's newly drawn 2nd congressional district. Key topics tonight were abortion, gun violence, and the state of the economy. Today, Madison County Democrats, along with Alabama House Minority Leader Anthony Daniels, hosted a watch party to watch Vice President Kamala Harris officially accept the Democratic presidential nomination. Ahead of the acceptance speech, Daniels spoke on the energy heading into this election cycle, while a local resident stressed the point of this election.
The energy is just so strong for Harris that I think we have an opportunity to pick up some states that we never thought we can pick up. I'm very confident about where we are positioned today, but it can change tomorrow. So that's why we cannot let up. We cannot let up.
The time is now to do something. This is our time, and we need to take advantage of it and put our best foot forward and vote.
And earlier today, we spoke to State Representative Laura Hall for District 19 in North Alabama to get her impressions of the convention. She said her first convention was in 1988, and this year is something special.
Well, I cannot believe how much enthusiasm, energy, just looking forward, positive. It's almost indescribable for me. I was here when Obama ran, and then here this year. But it seems that the level of enthusiasm continues to go up, not down. My biggest concern is making sure that enthusiasm continues to permeate throughout each one of our states until the election day.
If your home or business gets its power from the Tennessee Valley Authority, you'll be paying a bit more soon. We told you yesterday the board would meet to consider a rate increase of 5.25% that would take effect this October. The meeting happened in the Shoals this morning, where a final presentation of the rate schedule was delivered.
The committee recommends, and as committee chair, I move that the board approve a 5.25% base rate adjustment to be effective starting October 1st, 2024.
All in favor of approving this item? Aye. All opposed? The item is approved.
You heard it there. The board voted in favor of the new rate plan. The hike follows a 4.5% increase enacted last year. But board members noted in the presentation that the price points for the service they provide are among the lowest in the region. Over in Marshall County, concerned residents gathered at last night's Albertville City Council meeting. It follows concerns over an alleged influx of working migrants in Albertville. Ahead of yesterday's meeting, a coalition of more than 15 Alabama organizations joined together to write to Albertville, Mayor Tracy Onea, and city council members. The letter expressed their worries about a current zoning ordinance. The ordinance limits how many people can live in a bedroom in a home. In the letter, groups urged the city of Albertville that enforcing this ordinance would be, quote, inherently discriminatory and would target migrants living together for survival.
Until I attended concerned about Albertville's first public meeting last Monday, what I learned was their #1 goal is to take away the housing of Haitians. But speaking of folks being ran out of town, that is exactly what members of Concern About Albertville want to do to our Haitian population, which is the same thing some of them and or their parents tried to do to the Hispanic community around 20 years ago.
Groups also shared in their letter to Albertville that they understand the city is facing challenges, but scapegoating migrants for those issues will only hurt everyone involved.
Along with the questions came assumptions, very harmful assumptions.
The recent influx of migrant workers has been the talk of the town, but it's how some people are expressing these concerns that has others questioning the debate itself.
All of those things were being thrown out there in a very public way.
It's been a staple of social media and at public meetings.
What's going on in our city under our own noses? That's the story here. That's what we should be concerned about.
But Senator Wes Kitchen told us the migrant presence isn't anything new.
For many years, we've had an immigrant population that's moved into this area back 20, 30 years. Here recently, there's been a new program through the Office of Refugee Resettlement, and it seems like it's increased the numbers of immigrants that are coming in.
And the tension surrounding their presence isn't new either.
Albertville used to be 98% white as late as the 90s, like early 90s. Then the late 90s come around and we see an increase in our Hispanic population. The same thing that they are doing now, their reaction to the Haitians, is the same exact way they reacted to the Hispanic community coming in.
Unique Dunstan says as time went on, the city adjusted. Now this new group?
I think with a new group, and with this new group having darker skin, I think that has just been too much for them to handle.
But many in the community says it's not about race.
This isn't about the Haitians. This isn't about the Spanish. This isn't about the Hispanics. This isn't about anybody. People are trying to make this about race. They're trying to divide our city, but we're not going to give up.
Dunstan wants to see more education to go along with all the conversation.
We are going to begin to start educating our migrant community and our community as a whole on their rights that they have for just being here in this country, whether you're undocumented or not. I think it's going to be very important moving forward, especially hearing that the city does plan to enforce these zoning ordinances.
In Albertville, Ken McCoy, Fox 54 News.
The South Star Music Festival is one of the many reasons the city is making its name as a music destination. And as the city prepares for the big event in September, local artists are also taking center stage. Our Kim McCoy has the story.
Whether you're here at John Hunt Park, Big Spring Park, or any of the other music venues around the city, September will give you the perfect opportunity to help celebrate local artists who are helping Huntsville to become a music destination.
At the end of the day, like curating and developing the local talent we have here and showcasing that talent, putting systems in place to ensure that they stay here in Huntsville.
Huntsville is becoming a music destination, and the city is making sure local artists get their shine.
Our music efforts are like year-round. You know, we use September as kind of an opportunity to really put a spotlight from the city channels and from the city perspective.
September is Huntsville Music Month, where the community can get introduced or reintroduced to some of their local favorites.
We have several venues that are going to be packed full of amazing shows, and yeah, there's going to be something, if not multiple things, every night of the month in September and also October.
The addition of the music office has made the difference in Huntsville's economy.
Nothing makes us happier than when we have like a show at the VBC or the Orion or an event like South Star where we have just like a ton of locals coming to participate, but also we see like the hotel rooms packed with people coming to visit Huntsville.
Speaking of South Star, Mandrella says John Hunt Park is near ready for the big event.
If you look over there, it was like maybe brown a couple months ago, where now if you go over there, it's like very lush and green. And so that footprint, the majority of the festival footprint is going to be, and that's like from the JC building to the soccer stadium. Like people will park, come into the main entrance, and you'll see that footprint where we'll have like 2 massive stages, a giant sports bar, a ton of food vendors in between, a lot of activities.
The city is also preparing for the big crowd.
We have a very like well laid out traffic plan. We of course, like whenever you have a big event, there's going to be a little bit of congestion, but I think that on the scale of other event sites, and you know, like compared to maybe like a football game in Tuscaloosa, it's going to be very minimal.
In Huntsville, Ken McCoy, Fox 54 News.
It's been nearly a decade since a Huntsville recreational facility got some TLC. The Dr. Richard Showers Senior Center hasn't had renovations since 2016, but that may be changing soon. Our Gabe Glassman shows us what happened tonight when area residents got together to share their vision for the future.
We see nearly 1,500, 1,600 people here a week. So we are one of the busiest buildings in all of the city of Huntsville.
The heavy use over all the years is evident here at the Dr. Richard Showers Recreation Center. It hasn't seen renovations since 2016, so the time is right for an update. That's why officials held a public input session on Tuesday to get a grasp on what people want to see added or upgraded.
Maybe a rock climbing wall, skateboard areas. I'd like to see air conditioning in the gymnasium. I'd also like to see pickleball on the outside.
Some talked about revamping the popular swimming area. Others discussed making sure there's something for everyone.
We also need things for our more seasoned people that they can engage in. We also need something for our younger children.
Rec Center officials say there's still a long way to go before renovations go from concept to reality. The city has a contract in place with an architectural company to see what they can do.
It is very important for them to come in, look at the totality of the space to see how far it can go, how high it can go, or how wide it can go. So it's a really cool process to see them work through that situation as well.
For residents, this center has served them as a hub for years and are excited about the long-awaited upgrades to the facility.
The most interesting thing about the staff here is that they've seen generations after generations come through this building.
We see more all around the city. And why can't we have it also? I think it's been a great place for the community. I've hosted several different occasions out here. I've utilized several of the rooms in the facility for different occasions. I just think it's been a great area to bring the community together.
In Huntsville, I'm Gabe Glassman, Fox 54 News.
City officials who were at the event say they're going to bring all of these suggestions to the drawing board to see what can be completed. A new gas station may not seem like a big deal in most neighborhoods, but residents in Harvest say a new gas station may be a nightmare for an intersection that is already seen as dangerous. The new Chevron is located on the corner of Jeff and Burwell Roads. Our Gabe Glassman spoke to one Harvest resident who says starting a petition is the only option.
It's not the best spot already for traffic.
Many residents have complaints of the new Chevron gas station, including Derica Taylor, who started a petition against the new location.
There are 6 gas stations within a 6-minute drive of where I'm at.
Taylor says she felt inclined to speak out against the construction due to fears of safety.
There's only a single center turn lane there to turn from Jeff onto Burwell. There's no traffic light. It's kind of a mess already, and it would just exacerbate that, I think.
Taylor also mentions how the new Chevron located close to Sparkman High School adds to her fears.
At the end of the day, when the kids are getting out, there's young, inexperienced drivers on the road already with the intersection already not functioning very well.
Residents who live in nearby neighborhoods also have fears of property values going down.
Your home is most likely your most valuable asset. So having a gas station in your backyard isn't necessarily very good for your property value.
Because of zoning laws affecting the particular area in Madison County, starting a petition seemed as the best option available.
There's really not a way for us to do much about it other than kind of a public outcry, maybe discourage the owner of the lot from using that lot for this purpose.
Madison County Commissioner Phil Vandiver sent out a Facebook message explaining the situation to his constituents. Others commenting on the post discussed the fear of added traffic and congestion without a stoplight.
I'm just concerned that won't be enough to prevent this from being installed there.
The petition currently has just under 200 signatures. In Harvest, I'm Gabe Glassman, Fox 54 News.
Red Lobster is making a comeback in Huntsville. The location on University Drive is going to reopen. The grand reopening is scheduled for next Wednesday at 11 a.m. This comes after significant challenges faced by the seafood chain earlier this year. In May, the seafood chain filed for bankruptcy and closed dozens of locations across the U.S. Red Lobster has not given any specific reasons for choosing this location to reopen.
Hey everyone, the non-conference slate for the Alabama Crimson Tide men's basketball team has been booked for about a month now. But the city of Huntsville still wanted to find a way to get Nate Oates and his squad to the Rocket City, so they decided to go the exhibition route. Today, Mayor Tommy Battle announced that this year's Rocket City Basketball Classic will be a kickoff exhibition on October the 28th between Alabama and Memphis. Proceeds from the event will go to the Huntsville Hospital Foundation. Because of recent success, this battle between the Tide and Tigers could be a battle of preseason top 25 squads. We spoke to Joel Lamb about the opportunity of having Nate Oates square off against Penny Hardaway.
When you get two guys who have been coaching at a high level, this is really going to make for a great matchup. What Nate's done and the playing style that they employ, it's fun to watch. Penny has got a very players-friendly style that, hey, they want to get the ball up the floor and go score quickly. So it's going to be a fun game to watch and see the styles contrast and compare a little bit. It'll be a fun night.
Surprise, surprise, Keith Urban surely did in the Tennessee Valley, and on a Friday, the country music star holding a pop-up concert tonight at the Buc-ee's in Athens. Our Gabe Glassman is there with the sights and sounds.
I am here at the Buc-ee's location in Athens, Alabama, and as you can see behind me, there was a lot of people. There's even a little stage, and no, that is not Bucket the Beaver performing, but it is country artist Keith Urban. Urban said as he walked off stage that he didn't expect a lot of people to be here, maybe 100, 200 at most. But as you can see on your screen right now, hundreds and hundreds of people have made their way out to Buc-ee's for this surprise event. A lot of people have been here since 3 o'clock, camping out after they heard on Facebook or other means. Now, during my free time while eating a pulled pork sandwich, I also took that time to talk to people about how bizarre it is to get a free concert in a gas station parking lot.
It took a little bit of trying to figure out if it was actually true or not, and we found some people that were passing by and said there really is a stage set up there, so here we are.
I was at work and we heard it on the radio that there was going to be a surprise concert at Buc-ee's in Athens, and I was like, oh my God, it's on my way home and it's 15 minutes from my house, so I couldn't believe it.
Things I love are Buc-ee's and country music, and when you put two things together, it's a given.
I can put it on my awesome things that have happened unplanned in life. I think it's great.
Take a look at this. Yep, that's Keith Urban joining the Athens Buc-ee staff. You can see him chopping up some brisket there while the crew yell the famous hot brisket on board. Sergeant Hobbs captured this look after the Urban's concert last night. The estimated total of attendance was 5,500 people.
Pretty cool.
That was pretty cool.
Awesome.
What's your guys' favorite thing from Buc-ee's?
Oh, I got a lot. I like the nuggets, the little Buc-ee nuggets.
Beaver nuggets.
Beaver nuggets, yep, there we go.
Ken mentioned that famous phrase, Buc-ee's pitmasters yell. Let me see if I can do it some justice. Hot brisket on the board. How'd I do? That puts the finishing sauce on our week in review. Remember, we're taking nominations for FOX54's Top Teacher. Head to our website for details, and it's an all-new high school football season, and we have super-sized editions of First Down Friday night with Mo and the guys coming your way. Stick with Fox 54 and Fox 54 Plus for these and more in the weeks to come. For now, I'm Kenesha Dees. See you next time.